What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Also, please hit that subscribe button. A lot of you guys are viewing the channel, you're not hitting that subscribe button. That really helps me out. In this video, I'm going to show you this Toro Timecutter SS 4225 mower. It's got a drive belt that has come off. The owner says it's not broken, but he did supply a new drive belt. So I'm going to be showing you how to put on a new drive belt. Also, we're going to kind of try to determine how this belt came off and why. He loaned it to a neighbor. He says the neighbor ran over something, so it's probably something caught up into the pulley or something that threw the belt. So we're going to go over that, and then maybe in this video I'll kind of give you a review or my opinions of this mower. Alright guys, so let's get started here. I grabbed my 16 millimeter. Oh, it is loose, but that is the correct, I don't know, I can't tell. Yeah, that's the correct size, 16 millimeter. Like I said, my customer already, someone tried to install this already. One thing I like to do with this light here, these bolts, I would always put some maybe WD-40 or anti-seize on if you try to reapply it. John Deere, on their mowers, on their commercial mowers, they say if you reuse this bolt to apply some red Loctite. Personally, you know, listen to them, don't listen to me, but I don't do that. I put anti-seize or WD-40 on there because chances are you don't want that coming out. If you can tighten it up tight enough, usually around 60 foot-pounds is plenty, foot-pounds of torque. The chances are, if it gets corroded in there, or if you put red Loctite with all that engine heat, you don't want that breaking off into the crankshaft. Believe me, I've done many of those. It's a nightmare. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. So let's proceed here. So I've lowered it down where I can turn it, and like I said, it's kind of binding up. And there's the rubber grommet that he thought was lost because it really goes on like that in that position. So now this piece back here on the clutch right here isn't touching that spring. So that's how it's installed. And now we're also going to make sure you don't pull your wiring harness or break that. Again, WD-40 is safe to use on these plugs. You guys that don't like WD-40 or say, oh, you're right, I don't care what you say. I've probably been doing this longer than you. Bearing feels a little bit rough on the top. I always like to feel these bearings, but nothing of concern at the moment. So there's our drive pulley. So now I'm going to relocate the camera into a better position so we can see what's going on. Alright guys, let's take a look at what we've got here. So this is the actual tensioner. I'm going to call this the tensioner arm and tensioner pulley or idler. And right here we got just a stationary idler that's on the mount bolt for this arm. Now it looks like I'm definitely going to have to loosen that up to get the belt out between the frame and that idler. And that's a V-groove. And like I've said before in other videos, you know, you got a V-groove side and then a flat side. So you'll know that the V-groove goes in the pulleys that have the V, like that's on the hydros here. I apologize for my camera flipping around and everything. Then also the flat side will go on any idler that's like got a wide flat surface like that. So right now I'm going to loosen this up. I don't know what size. It looks like a 12 or maybe a 13. And on the top side of that, it's into the frame. So you don't have to necessarily hold it. It's a pan bolt. I don't know if I can get the camera to view that really well. So it's kind of like a pan head bolt right there. So you'll have to kind of pull down on the bolt when we go to retighten it. So right now I'm going to loosen it just to get some slack to get this belt out of there. Alright, so I got the tensioner arm pulley and this idler pulley right here off, and let me show you guys how it's laid out. First, let's start from the very top. You got this pan bolt here. You can see it's got like a 4 slotted, you know, when it's pulled down into that square slot, you know, it can't turn. So I was like taking my hand and holding my finger on the top of it to hold it down. And now let's go over the components. So this, starting from the very top, working our way down, that goes like that. So that would go on there first. Then this, so it goes like that right there. And then goes on to this bushing here into the arm, then the arm, and then the washer, and then the nut. Now, one thing I'm going to need to suggest to my customer is that they replace this idler. It sounds, after I've got it off, it sounds pretty bad. So let me show you that now. Sounds bad. I would replace it for sure. This one sounds bad as well. While we're doing this, probably a good time to replace these. No point in putting a new belt on if those bearings are going to fail, and then probably sling the belt, if not break the belt, and then you have to do this process all over again and replace this idler. Alright guys, so this is how the belt is routed. Alright, so, and I'll admit, I don't like Toro. I think this is the most ridiculous Mickey Mouse tippy toe engineering design for a drive belt I've ever seen. So basically, earlier I had it around this pulley, but you're going to have to kind of take that pulley down and kind of put all this in there together at once. Especially this one, because I mean it's like right up against that frame, so you have to put that on there first, get it all, you know, tightened up. And I ended up taking this cover off just so I'd have room to put my hand to hold that bolt down. It's all extremely annoying to do, but you'll have to put this back on there, and then I just used my finger to kind of really force it down around this tensioner arm right here. And so now all I got left to do is take this spring and hook it to here, and then hook it to this frame. But this is one of the most ridiculous freaking, you know, drive belt designs. I thought, you know, just when John Deere thought that, you know, they come up with some really, really stupid drive belt and deck mount or deck belt designs from their engineers from the California Berkeley. Have no real world experience, I guess. I don't know what they're doing, but this is, it's just cheaply made, really, honestly. Yeah, I don't like it. But anyway, this is how you do it. You go around that pulley on that hydro, this one, and then I would recommend just putting that arm up in there. You know, you can have the belt loose or whatever, and then put that belt on with this pulley, and then these two kind of have to go on around the same time. And it's I kind of had it just loop around this one first, and then you got to kind of just push against as hard as you can against this one, just to get just enough room to make it fall into place onto that idler. All right, next up, guys, is putting on this tensioner spring. So I'm going to hook that right there. And what I'm going to do is use my little rope trick that I've shown in some other videos. I'm going to feed it through this slot of the frame here. And this is my first time I've ever doing one of these on this particular mower. So I'll hook it there, and let's see if you guys can see this. That makes it easy. Now the problem right here at this point is that my rope is trapped, but what I could do is come down here, get my rope free, maybe take a pair of pliers or something and pull that spring to get my rope free. So let me grab a pair of pliers. And that's it. Alright guys, so now we're ready to put the clutch back on, and first thing I'm going to do, since the clutch wiring harness attaches on the very back, I'm going to go ahead and attach that first. And so I'm going to spray into that connector a little bit of WD-40. And that just helps clean, protect. It's safe for electrical connections like that. And then one thing else I'm going to do is I'm going to put some Loctite on this shaft, and that way if it's a long time the next time we take this clutch off, it's going to come off really easy. And also I'm going to put some anti-seize on this, and I'm also going to put some anti-seize on this bolt. This anti-seize comes in a stick form where you could just apply it really easily. It doesn't get so messy. You just apply it like that to this bolt. And I just kind of want to get like a nice thin coating on the bolt and on the threads, and that will make that come out a lot easier next time. And another way for other applications, you can use like this jar that has a little brush on the end of it. Makes it easy to apply very generously. This stuff doesn't hurt anything. And now next time we have to take this clutch down, it will be really easy. So first thing I'm going to do, I got my WD-40 sprayed in the electrical connector. I'm going to go ahead and clip that into place. I'm going to slip this up, and then there's always going to be a little key slot in there, so I'm going to line that key slot up with how it looks right here. So first line up the hole, and now our rubber grommet that my customer was feared was gone. He just had it in the wrong slot. Make sure that stays in the proper position as I go on up there. And now it's time to apply the bolt. I like to get a good couple threads on there so you don't risk cross-threading it before applying that impact pressure. Again, this takes a 16 millimeter. And I always use an impact right here. I'm using my DCF 911, one of my favorite impacts, most useful impacts, the 20 volt. They also have the DCF 901 that takes the 12 volt, or this is the 20 volt. Very lightweight, half inch impact, and very useful. And it doesn't have the power to break that bolt, but it has plenty of power, foot-pounds of torque, to apply what I need to make sure that bolt's not going to come out of there. And again, 60 foot-pounds is probably all it needs to retain that. So now we can put our belt on, and we're going to go test drive this Toro. And I'm probably going to do a video giving you my review on the Toro Residential Zero Turns.
So guys, each time I do a repair on a mower, I like to test it out, get it up to operating temperature, and that way you will see if there's any potential problems that's going to happen. And this particular unit, it was actually the charging system isn't working. I'm going to have to get with the customer about that and let them know that we need to replace those tensioner pulleys pretty soon. But overall, I really don't care for Toros too much. I went ahead and cut the grass with this one just to try it out. And I'm going to make another video giving a review on this. But I hope this video helped you guys out if you're needing to replace the drive belt on this particular style of mower. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.